Chapter 1310. Thus, there were still believers of the Church of the Flame Dragon Lord who would escape to the border and be relocated to Gango by the church members at the border. Everyone knew that the Pope of the Flame Dragon Lord Church and Sheik of Saturn Village, Trevor Penn, had connections to the national president of Gango. The patrol guards would turn a blind eye to this, and even help with relocating the refugee believers from time to time. At the same time, Cameron and Dawson had made it to the border. There was a tent that the Church of the Flame Dragon Lord had set up around 3 kilometers from the border. Cameron and Dawson had arrived with 100 members of the church militia, taking over the situation the second they arrived. It was currently around 3 in the afternoon. Cameron and Dawson stood on the peak of a nearby hill, overlooking the border from a short distance. "Captain, do you think we'll really get into a fight with the Church of Holy Illuminati?" Dawson asked. Cameron looked at the border. "A war's bound to break out. His Holiness seems intent on teaching the Church of Holy Illuminati a lesson." "Do you think we can win?" Dawson asked quietly. Cameron looked at him, his tone firm. "With His Holiness on our side, victory will be ours for sure." "Yes, His Holiness is leading this battle. We're going to win." Dawson nodded fiercely, as if Cameron's words had given him a strange boost of confidence. Just then, Cameron called out, "Someone's here." Dawson scrambled to look at the border. Around a dozen people had crossed the border and were currently running this way as if their lives depended on it. "What are we going to do?" Dawson asked anxiously. Cameron gave it some thought. "They'll be our people once they've crossed the border. Let's take them into the forest." Dawson nodded, and Cameron gestured to the rest of the church militia. All 100 members drew their weapons at once, standing guard. Cameron and Dawson took off running towards the dozen people. As the distance between both parties drew closer, Cameron and Dawson were soon able to hear their cries. "Save us! We're believers of the Flame Dragon Lord Church," Cameron said at once. "There are people. Bring them back." Dawson nodded, and the two of them sped up. Just then, however, 3 military vehicles came speeding over. They stopped right at the border. All 3 vehicles were armed with heavy-duty weapons that fired at the people running away the second the vehicles had stopped. A series of gunshots later, all the refugee believers had collapsed on the ground, groaning in agony before all life drained out of them. Dawson and Cameron stared on in horror. The next second, their expression twisted with grief. These people had been their brothers and sisters in faith who had come to them seeking help. It was only natural for them to be pained by the sight of them dying before their eyes. Just then, the soldiers in the 3 military vehicles got out and gave Cameron and Dawson the finger, shouting insults and provoking jeers. "What should we do?" Dawson gritted his teeth. Cameron's tone was ice cold. "His Holiness said that anyone who tries to come after the people who have crossed the border must be killed. But they're still within the Terria grounds. We'd be crossing the border here." Dawson still seemed hesitant.